Critically Chaotic is a rowdy Dungeons and Dragons podcast that consists of adult themes and humor. Content warnings for this episode can be found in the episode description as well as a link to transcripts. Rest, weary traveler, and enjoy.
In the last episode, the Vox Anima made plans for their new job. The Vox spent the morning receiving a threatening letter from their old buddy Oriel, summoning cute and salty familiars, and of course, having extremely normal and expected group conversations about the wanted statuses of your teammates. Now, the Vox has found their goal, a mysterious temple in an abandoned, creepy town. After discovering the temple is connected to the job they've already accepted, our adventurers must brace themselves to descend into the deep.
You open the door and it basically opens up into a stairwell. So you head on down with the light from Snow kind of at the center of the group, keeping everything lit up. So you head on down to the next floor, which is kind of just like another open room. And then at the end you see another door, and in the center there is a table and what looks to be a scale with some empty bowls, and then there is a big jug on the table. You can see on the door at the end that there is a place for a key of some kind.
Can I try and pick the lock?
Sure.
Or wait, can I see if the door is open first?
Sure.
Is it unlocked?
No.
Okay.
Also, can I, instead of sending my familiar head, can I just use L to give me advantage on my intelligence checks instead?
Sure.
So I'm gonna use my mage hand, which I can use to pick a lock with my thieves' tools.
Okay, roll luck for me.
Okay.
Am I able to give him guidance on luck? I don't think so, but...
Nope.
I got a 15.
Okay, mage hand works.
Alright, and then picking the lock.
Whenever you cast a spell, you have to do a luck check.
Do you want to explain why, lady?
So, being an arcane trickster, you have a very limited sort of set of spells that you know / can cast. And I didn't like that. So I was like, hey Xaan, can I know more spells in exchange for having some kind of handicap on something? And Xaan was like, sure. Now your spells are gonna have DC saving throws that'll do interesting things if you fail.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
And so I was like, sounds good. So now I have more spells, but if they fail.
Jerome's entire character is just like a luck bomb waiting to go off.
Please keep me as far away from Jerome as possible.
Alright, so now I gotta roll to actually use the thieves' tools. How does 17?
So you use your mage hand, and it daintily picks up the thieves' tools and starts expertly working in with the lock. But it tries and it does really good. It goes through everything. You know exactly what to do, and so it knows exactly what to do, but it does not unlock the door.
So methinks some kind of magical lock is in play here. That normally works.
Is there any sort of inscription around the bowls and jug?
Yes. So again, it's written in the Old Elvish, so it's a little bit hard to translate, but the essence of it is, it says, make the scales exactly equal. To do so, you must use the tools provided. And so, in a meta standpoint, I'll tell you basically what this is. So the jug contains 8 cups of water. And then there is a small glass that holds 5 cups of water, and then a bowl that can hold 3 cups of water. And so you must completely, you must use these tools in order to completely split it. And I won't just let you say, I do it. You have to tell me the steps in which you do it.
Oh my.
If we were meeting in person, I would have you do this, in person.
With stuff? That's amazing.
Are we gonna go with the assumption that the jug, the bowl, and the cup all weigh the same amount?
Yeah. There's two like equal looking cups or whatever that you're supposed to equalize the water into. So you have your measuring glass and bowl, and then you have like the weighing glasses.
Since Snow is probably gonna immediately get to work because Bean knows how this works. Can I just investigate the rest of the room while Snow is doing that?
Yeah.
Okay, investigation 10 plus 5, 15.
Okay. So, you're looking around, and there's some more murals of like water and whatnot. So, on the first floor, there was the murals of like the top of the sea with like the waves and the ships, and then under here, it seems to be like almost kind of like underwater, where it has the inscriptions of like a bit of like water wavy lines, and then like fish and little bubbles and whatnot. But otherwise, there's not really like anything else in the room. It's basically just like this is the puzzle. In order to proceed forward, you have to do the puzzle.
I think we have a solution.
Okay.
So dump the 8 jug to fill the 5 jug. So you'll have 3, 5, and 0. Alright, dump the 5 jug to fill the 3 jug. So you'll have 3, 2, and 3. Dump the 3 jug to fill the 8 jug. So you'll have 6, 2, and 0. Dump the 5 jug to fill the 3 jug. So you'll have 6, 0, and 2. Dump the 8 jug to fill the 5 jug. So you'll have 1, 5, and 2. Dump the 5 jug to fill the 3 jug, so you'll have 1, 4, and 3. And then jump the 3 jug to fill the 8 jug, so you'll have 4, 4, and 0.
I kept getting stuck at the 1, 5, and 2, and I was like, what am I supposed to do here? And I knew it was stupid easy, and I was like, I'm just stuck.
So Snow works on that for a bit and gets to like this one part, and she gets a little stuck, and she's like, I.
Starts panicking.
Jerome kind of like leans over her shoulder and is like, how about you dump that in there and dump that in the other one, and then you'll both have the equal amount.
Snow's just like, amazingly, you got that right, I think. Does it?
I may be an idiot, but I ain't stupid.
So we pour the 2 4-cup things into the 2 cups that are balancing.
Okay. And so you put them into the cups, and the scale kind of like does this like wobble as it's slowly like coming to equilibrium, and then as the scale stills, the entire scale like itself kind of like weighs down and creates like a little divot in the table, and then you hear a quiet click as another part of the table kind of like opens in front of you, and then inside you see a key on display.
Woo! Guys, it's like we're doing an escape room together.
Hey, escape room!
Oh my god, yes.
Can I have my mage hand unlock the door? I don't want it to feel bad over failing to get the door open. So like,
What does Jerome's mage hand look like?
Jerome's mage hand looks kind of like it looks like a gloved hand. It actually looks kind of like a really big Dragonborn-esque hand.
Dope.
You can't quite see the Dragonborn-esque features because it's got like a glove-looking thing over it. It kind of flares out at the wrist a little bit, but yeah, that is the hand.
So Mage Hand uses the key. It unlocks the door, and it kind of like pushes the door for you, so it opens on up, and you see more stairs.
It gives a little flourish as it does so, like a
Of
ta-da!
course.
Like after it opens the door, it's like the hand like turns around to face you and does like a like those fancy bows where like the hand like twirls on the wrist a couple of times. It does that as though it's like bowing.
All right, shall we continue on?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Same order as last time.
Alrighty. So you head on down more steps, and then you arrive to yet another floor. Although this one, so you arrive on the floor, and then there's a path just like straight down to the door, and it's about as wide as like a Mogan. And so you can't really walk like 2 by 2 on this pathway. And then on either side of the pathway, it's open into what looks to be like this kind of like murky pool kind of inside of the two like big holes on either side. On the far side of the wall, there's like a little bit of extra floor room in front of the door, and on the left side of the door there is a crank, and then on the right side of the door there's another crank, and then in the water you're able to just like it's really murky and it's kind of hard to see, and it just kind of like it doesn't look like, like fresh river water. It looks like sus water.
Is there any inscriptions in this room that say anything?
There is an inscription on the far door that says, find what you need using the resources available. The same kind of like very vague kind of instructions.
Can I roll like an investigation or a nature check on the water to see if I can tell if there's anything in there?
Yeah.
I got a 19 for nature.
So for nature, you're able to tell that like the water, like it doesn't really smell right. It's almost like bubbling a little bit. And if you like all get kind of quiet and you listen closely, you can almost hear like a kind of hiss sizzle of some kind, and you're able to tell that there's something like acidic about this water, quote unquote.
I relay that to the group. I got 16 for the investigation, by the way.
You can tell that there's like something in the water. It's a bit hard to tell exactly what it is because the water's like so murky, but you're able to make out like something almost kind of like glittering from the light bouncing off of Snow's amulet, necklace, whatever it is.
Should we try and see what the cranks do?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we investigate to see exactly like if we can see are the cranks attached to anything? Like, can we get an idea of what they'll do if we touch them?
They're just attached to the wall, so you can't see. You can assume that there's like some kind of mechanisms behind the wall, but you can't like see what it is just from where you are.
Does the item under the water look heavy?
Does it look like it'll raise up and create like a path?
No, it looks kind of small. It's kind of hard to tell what it is, but like because it's small, like the sparkles are small, you can assume that it's probably not heavy.
I can send my mage hand to go pick it up.
Try it.
Roll a luck roll.
We got a 17.
Hey.
All right, so you are able to use mage hand.
All right, so hey, how's it going, Handy? Can you go get the thing at the bottom of the pool there?
It does like a little snap and then like puts its like fingers all tightly together in an almost like salute kind of emotion, and then it goes right into the water. So you send the hand and it dives down, and like you can't like quite see it. You're able to make out like a tiny bit of like the white glove, and then you see the sparkles kind of like get grabbed, and that kind of starts moving upward until the hand dissipates and the whatever it was slowly sinks back to the bottom, which indicates to you, Jerome, that the journey down there and back up is more than 30 feet, which is how far the hand can travel in an action.
Does the pool count as a container?
Why?
So, as part of being an arcane trickster, I have the feat of Mage Hand Ledgerman, which does special things with Mage Hand if there's like containers.
Like what?
I can stow one object the hand is holding in and it's just if it's carried by another creature. Never mind.
Damn it. Alright, well I guess we should try the cranks. We don't really have anything else we can do.
Wait, do any of y'all know Thieves' Hand? Or not Thieves' Hand, Mage Hand, because we can do a passing off sort of deal where when my Mage Hand passes off to somebody else's Mage Hand, you know?
I do have Mage Hand as a cantrip.
Fantastic.
So Jerome, you create the Mage Hand, and it dives down, It grabs the key and it kind of goes up, and then it's like shimmering a little bit because it's still like a bit into the water. It's like maybe halfway down in the water, and it's shimmering because it's like I can't go any further.
Oh, what if how? This is insane. How far down can Mogan hold? Like, if I was held by Mogan over, this is so extra, over the path, how much closer would I get? Would I be able to grab it with the key? Would I be able to grab the key with my mage hand?
You would have to, yeah, with your mage hand, you could do that, yeah.
Cool, because I have a safety measure that can save me if I'm dropped.
Mogan won't drop you. What are you talking about?
This is a trust exercise.
God.
Let's do this. Hold me over a vat of acid. I'm curious. I need to know. This is my -1 wisdom coming into play.
Okay, yeah, I like this.
She
I
must
like
know.
this.
Yeah.
Gonna go really wrong.
Character stuff. Let's go.
Okay, so go on, do that in character.
Mogan, I have an idea, but we will have to trust one another. Before you answer the plan, we need to get closer to this key so I can use my mage hand to grab it. The only way that we can do that safely is if one of us is held over this pool of acid by you. But you can do backup, hold Mogan.
Yeah, I'll give a help action, I guess.
You'll hold me over and I will grab the key. I can save myself if I get dropped, so not that I will get dropped, it's just if, like, I don't know, you get attacked and, like, I start falling, I don't know. What do you think?
He kind of thinks about it for a second.
Would look really cool.
I guess. Let's do it.
Kareus gently puts a hand on Leaf's shoulder and backs a little further to the door, like fully expecting it to blast by acid.
Wait, also I'll be like holding Mogan around his waist, pulling him back
Oh
so
my
he
God.
doesn't fall.
I need y'all to do a series of rolls for me, and then I will describe this in beautiful detail.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so Mogan, roll strength, and then Snow, you can roll to assist with strength.
Okay. Can I use guidance with that?
I'll say that you can guidance one of you.
Okay, I'll give it to Mogan. I feel like that's slightly more important.
Okay, I'm using a completely different dice. I've already used 2 different dice. Let's see if this one rolls well for what I might be doing.
Yeah, I'm also on completely different dice, so I'm hoping.
Okay, and then Alex, roll acrobatics, and then what's the name of the backup thing that you have?
Misty Step.
That makes sense. Okay.
I got a 14.
Okay.
I got a 15.
And then Mogan, what did you get?
Coming for the win. He got an unnatural 22.
Yeah.
Hey.
22 is not natural, so that makes sense.
We're definitely clearing this room the way the DM intended.
For sure.
100%.
Fuck your crank, Xaan.
Listen, no, to be honest, I find this is fucking great to me. And in fact, because of just how, like, batshit this whole idea is, just because of how batshit it all is, Alex, I'm gonna give you inspiration.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Because you're putting yourself in danger for a ridiculous thing that will promote character growth, and I love it.
Beautiful.
Are you ready? Are you ready for me to describe what occurs?
Yes. We are so
Please.
ready.
Alright, so, they quickly explains the plan to Mogan, and Mogan gives a sturdy nod, like, yes, I can do this. And so, he kneels down, and he braces himself on the floor, and he holds out a hand, and Vey grabs, Mogan's hand, and jumps out, and lands feet solid against the wall, like, perpendicular to this acid. When Vey jumps and does this, Snow is like, motherfucker, and launches forward to wrap her arms around Mogan, keeping him extra steady because Vey is so extra that she had to leap off to be dramatic.
It fits.
And so while Vey is leaning out like this, she throws out a hand and casts Mage Hand. What does her Mage Hand look like?
You know how her Eldritch Blast is, like, weird and goopy looking? That's what the hand basically looks like. It's sort of like where the wrist is, it just sort of, like, drips off into, like, nothingness. and like the hand has like probably like elongated nails that like match her own nails because she just like is extra with her nails, and like it looks like it has like rings and stuff on it, but it just sort of like forms with the hand in this black goopy inky look.
That appears stretching out. So whereas with Jerome he kind of like flicked his hand and the mage hand kind of like formed, when Vey opens her hand, it's like this goop kind of like extends from her own hand, creating like this second, like the second skin kind of a thing, in this like black goopiness with these long nails, and it dives into the water and it grabs the key from Jerome's other mage hand that was waiting at the very edge, and it comes back and it emerges from the acid. Would it want to hand the key back to you, Vey, or would it just go like by the door to kind of insert it?
No, I would probably put it on the ground over there for now, just so that like any residual acid could drip off it, because I don't want to ruin the lock or get anyone burned with acid. So I'll just sort of like put it on the ground and let it dry for a little bit.
And then with Mogan's 22, he is also able to pull Vey up and onto solid ground without dropping you or him going tumbling it.
Thank you.
That went better than I expected.
I cannot believe that worked.
Jerome bursts into raucous applause.
Jerome, do you think I have a future in the circus, maybe?
I mean, yeah, given that performance, you got some showmanship. I can appreciate that.
Thank you. I give a curtsy.
Can I summon my mage hand to propose a mage hand high five between Jerome and Vey?
Yeah, you could totally recast Mage Hand for that.
I'm gonna. Screw the luck roll. I'll risk it. Fucking natural 20.
Okay, so Jerome recasts Mage Hand, and I assume Jerome like gives his own Mage Hand a high five, and then the Mage Hand turns around to face Vey's Mage Hand to give a high five, and Vey's hand kind of like stops and like kind of goes in for a handshake, and then then Jerome's Mage Hand like switches to a handshake as Vey switches for like a high five, and they do that kind of awkward back and forth before like both palms like turn towards you guys and does like an almost like shrug kind of movement, and then they both disappear.
Our hands made a full person.
Fantastic!
It fits. And I'll turn over to Mogan and go, "Thanks, big guy," and I'll give him a slap on the bicep. And then I will try and cross this bridge. I'll go first.
I assume you all can walk in a straight line. It's not so narrow that you need to roll like a balance type thing or anything. By the time everything is done and you've all have kind of like migrated over, the acid has kind of like dripped off a bit. And the key looks like it's kind of eaten away, except conveniently, for the actual like key part that goes into the lock. It seems like the acid didn't affect that part.
Does the key look old?
Yeah, it looks pretty old. Like it's kind of like old iron. Use the key, the door unlocks, and you're able to push it open. More stairs! So you all head down the steps and you arrive at the next floor. And this is probably like the most kind of like quote unquote decorated room that you've been to. So in the center at the end you can see like another familiar door. It has a lock. And so in the center of the room, there is like this glass box that goes from the floor up to the ceiling, and it has like a door that's opened. There are various pots and urns and old scattered items that are just kind of all around the room. In the center of the glass box, there is a key that is seated upon a stool, and the key looks just like all the other ones that you had gotten. And then at the door, there is an altar that is a couple feet in front of the door.
While we're still at the door, can I double check traps?
Yep.
Okay, that's a dirty 20.
So you look around and like the room seems like structured kind of the same way, besides like the obvious changes like the items and the glass box and whatnot. So you don't see anything that really like indicates a trap, but you just get like a weird feeling about this glass box.
Arcana check worthy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try Arcana check on it, I guess. 13 plus 5.
You get the same kind of like very vague magic sense that you got from like earlier on when you checked, I think it was you that checked the lock on one of the doors. And you see like similar kind of like runes inscribed on it that kind of implies like a magical kind of something. But otherwise you assume that like if anything is going to happen with this box, then it's probably something mechanical, but you also can't, like, quite see much.
Last question before I let everyone else do stuff. Does it look like like at the top where the box connects with the ceiling, is there like an opening at the top in the box area? Or does it look like the box can slide into little seams in the ceiling? Or nothing?
So at the top, the glass seems to kind of like go through the stones. Like the stones are placed in a way that it's like connected like directly with the glass. But like inside, kind of looking up, you're not in the box, but like kind of looking up like to where the ceiling would be inside the box. It seems to like keep going up. Like you can't quite see it, gets really dark, but like it's not just like another stone like the rest of the ceiling. It's like a hole there.
Out of character, why do I feel like a gelatinous cube is gonna slide down from that little slot and attack us?
You said there was an altar at the door, yeah?
Yeah.
I want to do another religion check on it. That's a 7.
It's for religious purposes. It probably has something to do with the puzzle. Maybe this is a religion puzzle. There is another inscription similar to the other floors, and then for this one it says that in order to obtain the key, you must offer a means of life to receive passage.
Blood sacrifice.
Yeah. Anyone want to give some blood?
I'm down.
No thank you.
I'm uncomfortable with this.
Is it like a chalice, a bowl?
It's a goblet.
Okay. Does it look like bloodstained and rusted or anything on the inside?
It looks clean.
Oh,
I mean, I'll take one for the team.
I'm down as well.
I'll pull out my hand axe.
Wait, maybe we should look for more clues before we just chop into our hand.
I mean, it's just some blood.
It might be like water. Like the whole temple has like the water theme, and like you can't have life without water.
Why don't we check out some of these pots and stuff first?
That isn't a bad idea, Jerome, actually.
I think the water idea makes a lot of sense.
So let's investigate the pots, I guess.
How many pots were there?
There's just a bunch. It's kind of like all scattered around, kind of filling the edge walls of the room. Oh, I haven't been describing that the murals have been adjusting each floor. So yeah, so on the second floor, which had the bowls, water, jug puzzle, it was like kind of underwater with like the squiggle of lines and then like the fish. And then the next room, which was the acid room, it had more of like kind of the line squiggles, and the carvings seemed to be like almost deeper into the stone, kind of to imply like a quote unquote darker color. And it showed like bigger kind of like scarier fish and some sharks, and it also showed like a few skeletons kind of like floating in the water. And then for this one, there's the occasional kind of like squiggle or like bubble, but it's mostly like not all that much decoration, except for very occasionally you can see like what looks like eyes kind of drawn onto the stone as though they're kind of like all staring at you.
Not creepy at all.
So inviting.
So then in the pots, so there's like a whole bunch of them, and some of them it's empty. In some of them there are old grains. In some of them you find fish bones. I almost said skeleton bones. Fish bones, and like a lot of them, which you could imply or you could infer means that the pot had once been full of fish, and over time it has completely decomposed into just the bones.
Think these were offerings?
There's a lot of rope, some of which are tied into knots. There's some big swaths of fabric that look similar to like sails you would have on a boat. And then an assortment of kind of like old jewelry, a lot of which has kind of rusted or worn down.
Can I pocket those?
Sure. I'll say that you can carry 2 pounds worth of jewelry if you want to completely stuff your pockets.
Let's just go with 1 pound for now.
Radical thought. Can I just take some water from like my water skin and just pour it in the goblet and see what that does?
Sure. When you pour the water into the goblet, do you like fill it all the way? Do you do it halfway?
Yeah, I fill it pretty much all the way, I guess.
When you fill it all the way, you hear a little click, and then that's it.
Did anything happen with the glass square thingy?
Nope.
Is the aura still there on the, like, the weird feeling around the glass?
Like it's not necessarily like a magical innate feeling. It's just kind of like an instinct kind of a thing.
Yeah, like, oh, that might be bad.
All right, well,
Maybe we all have to.
yeah, I poured some water into the goblet and there was a click, but I can't tell if it did anything.
What if we took like a rock and threw it at the glass thing to see if it like explodes or something?
I don't trust that.
I don't know if we want to agitate whatever's going on here.
I really, really want to hit it.
Mogan and I are on the same page.
Let's try everything first, and then we can brute force it. How about that?
Maybe we all need to give something up.
Can you reiterate the description, Xaan?
So it states that in order to move forward, the room requires a means of life to receive passage.
A means of life.
Maybe does it need like a little bit of food, water, like all the things you'd need to live?
Maybe. I'm thinking this might be like a play on words sort of deal.
I mean, I could try casting like a healing spell.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, try everything, I guess.
You can't really cast a healing, like, if it would be on an object, it would be mending, but you can't cast a healing spell on an object.
And I don't have mending, so.
Do we need to try blood?
Try, we could add a bit of blood to the water.
I feel so about any sort of blood sacrifice, though. Like,
I don't mind doing some blood sacrifice.
you don't know where that blood is gonna go. You don't know what's gonna touch. Hey, if somebody steals your blood, they could impersonate you, or they could drink it, or they could, like, use it to track you down. I've seen some wild shit happen with blood.
Snow just decides while everyone's kind of bickering and just takes out her hand axe and like pricks her finger and puts some blood in with the water.
Nothing happens.
Perhaps it needs to be full?
Of blood?
Maybe. It was only once the goblet was full of water that it clicked. It probably has the mechanical and the arcane aspects of it, so it could tell that the water wasn't enough, but the blood needs to fill it all the way.
I guess. I don't want to really be the only one putting blood in here then if I gotta fill the whole thing.
We could all put some in.
Sure.
I ain't gonna fuck with any sort of blood magic, so I'm out.
Neither.
I'm down.
Alright, well, I guess it's the four of us doing it. I'll dump out the water, and then I'll cut a little bit of a bigger gash and like let it fill up for a little bit before kind of squeezing my finger and moving out of the way.
You pick up the goblet, you dump out the water, and you set it back down, and you hear another click when it's empty, and now you have begun filling it with your blood.
Sounds so morbid. I step out of the way and kind of like...
Actually, before anyone else does any more blood sacrifice, can I just do a general, like, intelligence check or something to see if this would work?
You can try.
12.
It might be different. It's hard to say. You're not really sure. You just see this glass box, you see a key, you see the door, you see this goblet.
Awesome. I don't say anything and I let them continue on.
Who's up next?
I'll go next.
But by the way, Snow, roll a Constitution save.
Oh
God.
Fuck. Okay.
Oh, I give you resistance for that, by the way. I'm just gonna...
Alright, so 13.
You feel a little dizzy, but you're fine.
Okay, dope.
Well, now I'm a little more scared about going next. Should really have anything he can prick his finger on.
Mogan just reaches over with his axe.
I will give you a dagger.
Just takes his one axe. Let's go.
I see Mogan, like, his hand, like, itching to reach for his axe. I'm like, dagger.
Leaf takes out a dagger, and he pricks his finger and kind of hesitantly adds some blood to the goblet.
Leaf, roll a Constitution save.
Okay. Well, I got a natural 20.
Hey!
Jesus, okay, well, you're fine.
You feel great. You're like, yeah, I should give blood more often.
I should do more blood sacrifice, yeah.
Blood sacrifice is great, guys.
Alright, Kareus goes up next and says, I only have a sword. Can I borrow something?
You can use my dagger.
Yes, please, thank you.
I ain't gonna do the blood thing, but
Alright, roll a Constitution save.
13.
You feel a little dizzy, but you're fine.
Mogan walks right up, doesn't even care, takes his axe out, and just makes a little cut on his finger.
So when it is full and you draw your hand back, you hear a click. Roll a constitution save for me.
That is gonna be a 13.
You're dizzy, but you're fine.
All of us with the 13s out here.
Does anything happen, or do we just sacrifice blood for nothing?
I mean, you heard the click.
I really am so glad this didn't work.
Should I just touch the glass? I didn't sacrifice any blood.
Use your mage hand to touch it. Love a good mage hand.
Valid. Alrighty. Well, perhaps we should all move back a little bit before I do.
Kareus is already against the wall.
Everyone shuffles back.
Yeah, I'll summon my mage hand and try and poke it.
So you just poke the glass box.
Yep. That's what I do with my mage hand.
Cool. So the goopy, slimy hand emerges from Vay's hand and goes over to the box, and like the palm like turns back to like look at you all, being like, "Are you sure?" And then it turns back and it extends one finger and it gets close, and then it goes boop as it pokes it, and nothing happens.
Awesome.
So perhaps weighing down the goblet was the first part, and now we have to do something with the box?
Mogan, do you want to try and destroy it?
Okay, hang on. I feel like I didn't explain something at one point. There's a door. The box is open.
You definitely
you
did not
say there-
explain
you did
that.
not say there was a door that opened.
This glass box that goes from the floor up to the ceiling, and it has like a door that's opened.
A door that's opened. A door that's opened.
You never
I
said
swore
that.
I said that at the
No.
very beginning.
No.
Nope.
I'm just imagining people that are like listening to this in the future absolutely pulling their hair out because we are wasting so much time. Sorry,
We're
guys.
just dicking around with this goblet of blood. Honestly, yeah, we're gonna definitely grab the key, but I feel like our curiosity would have gotten the best of us anyways, and we would have done the water thing and then maybe a little bit of blood. I probably wouldn't have said like, "Hey, we should all sacrifice and stuff."
Yeah, maybe we wouldn't fill the cup, but
I think we would stop at the water phase and then investigate more.
Okay.
I'll just make my mage hand go through, because there's still that weird aura around the box that danger sense.
So now it goes to the key that's on the stool, and it picks it up, and it exits the box.
Cool. I grab the key from it.
Cool. You have a key.
Awesome, I did it, guys.
oh my god, that's
Wow.
so easy! What the
You
hell?
know, playing a high intelligence character, it's hard sometimes, but like it comes through.
Okay, so yeah, you have a key.
Does the door have a keyhole?
Yes, it does. You open the door, more stairs. Congratulations.
Down the stairs we go.
So you go down the stairs and you reach another floor, and this one does not have another door like the rest, so you can assume that you are at the bottom.
Oh.
Oh.
And so I'm going to describe this room because it's the biggest of the rooms. There is a large pool of water, like an actual like pool, not like a large puddle, like a pool of water that stretches across most of the room. There's about a 15-foot perimeter kind of around the pool, and then the pool is about 30 feet long and 20 feet wide. And then it looks maybe like 10 to 15 feet deep. It's kind of hard to tell. There are old lanterns hanging from the ceiling, but they give off no light. There's a ghostly glow coming from the pool in the form of blue jellyfish that are swimming around. If you guys know what like moon jellyfish are, they're very similar to that. At the very end of the room, you can see a large table that seems to have a lot of objects on it, and you can see you can see that it's like a lot of objects, but it's kind of hard to see because it's like 60 feet across the room. And there are two ghostly figures that are standing at the table, and they both turn to look at you, and their forms are wispy like fog, and they have a distant yet frightened look on their faces. They each look vaguely elven, and they are wearing what appears to be sailor's clothing. And they don't really, like, make any move towards you. They're just kind of watching you as you're at the doorway.
Kareus is way more interested in the jellyfish than the ghost.
Vay is way more interested in the ghost than the jellyfish.
Snow is also far more interested in the ghosts.
Kareus is like edging away to get closer and closer to the pool so we can look more.
Jerome's gonna walk forward a little bit
Pincer movement, I'll go the opposite direction.
And give a little wave at the sailor ghost. Oi, laddies,
Oh no.
Did you just become Scottish? What the fuck was that?
Oi, laddies.
shut up. Bad at accents. Y'all doing alright down there?
They're kind of quiet for a moment, and then one of them calls, what do you want? Why are you here?
We were just exploring this temple, you know. And, got to the bottom level. What seems to be, all of this?
They share kind of a glance at each other, and then the other one says, "This is our home. This is ours. We take care of this place."
Aw.
Mighty lovely place you got here. I especially like all the water murals on the walls. They're very lovely.
It is in honor of Istitia.
Justitia, ah. I was wondering who this, temple was to. Can I do a religion check to see if I know who that is?
Ditto.
Okay, I got a 17.
Jerome, you know that Istitia is also known as the king of water elementals.
Ah, Justitia. Ah. He's a good old king. He like this temple? You doing sacrifices to him?
We give offerings. Yes. Why have you come through our temple?
Mostly just exploring, you know? You come across a random temple in the middle of nowhere with an abandoned town. You kind of want to look inside, see what's up.
Does the clothing that the ghosts are wearing, does it match with the clothing that skeleton had on?
No, the skeleton had on kind of just like general, like everyday wear, and then these ghosts appear to have some kind of like sailor uniform or like some kind of like water type outfit.
Other one, do I see like bloodstains on the floor, like bodies behind the table? If I can see behind the table, like between the legs or anything.
Roll investigation.
I got 18.
I got 12.
So Moga's the only one that can really discern the things in the darkness. So Mogan, you're able to spy like a few bones that are kind of scattered around the perimeter. Inside the pool, you're able to spot a couple like full skeletons that are in there, and then some kind of discoloration, like kind of vaguely around that could indicate blood.
Kareus had been, like, peering over the edge of the pool, and he just silently backs up.
Jerome is still occupied with keeping the attention of these two ghostly figures. You appear to be a little bit transparent. What's that about? Most folks
We're
that
dead.
I've run into are like, oh. I'm sure your god appreciates you with your effort and your offerings, but wouldn't you rather, rest, move on to the great beyond?
We're the only people left here in order to take care of him.
So what do you do to do taking care of your god?
Will you leave us be? You don't belong here.
I mean, who really belongs anywhere?
We belong here.
Throughout this conversation, Jerome, where did you go?
Jerome's not really moving anywhere. He's still, like, just a little bit in front of the party. Not really anywhere closer or farther away from y'all, just, like, at the front.
Perhaps you can ask if the artifacts are theirs and where they got them, and then if they are still being aggressive, well...
May I ask a bit of a question? Where did you go getting those artifacts?
They were taken from us.
Oh.
Can I do an insight check on that?
Yeah, ditto. 18.
15.
I got an unnatural 20.
Nice.
Oh, sick.
So, Vey, you feel that they're telling the truth, and then Mogan and Snow, you're able to discern that, like, they believe it and they mean it, but that the artifacts weren't necessarily, like stolen implies, like, a bit of violence kind of a thing, and the stolen from us kind of implies that it was, like, they were there and whatnot, but you can understand that, like, these artifacts, like, weren't from this temple necessarily. Like, they might still be connected to these ghosts somehow, but it wasn't, like, from this temple. It wasn't necessarily just from this town.
They're just pissed that artifacts are stolen from their god?
Yeah.
So we just I whisper that to Jerome.
Might I have a moment to talk with my compatriots here?
If you will leave.
We'll be heading our way out eventually. I promise.
They look very annoyed and kind of agitated at that.
I turn around to the rest of the party. So, what are we gonna do about these two chuckle fucks?
I'm not sure if you can really do much damage against something that's already dead.
The existence of the pool implies some sort of sea monster, sea creature that they could summon or something.
Can I actually take a look in, like, can I just peer into the pool and see if there's any sea creature lurking at the bottom of the pool?
I would also like to do that.
I would also like to.
We all like break from our little huddle and then like look into the pool and then huddle again.
I mean, I got a 5.
23.
Okay, so everyone but Jerome is able to see, like, basically, like, everything in the pool, and there's no, like, creepy sea creature down there. It's just all the jellyfish hanging out.
We could potentially even just, like, tell them that we want to honor their god by displaying it, because that's the whole point of these. They were supposed to go to a museum.
Museums don't really honor gods. They don't, like, sacrifice to them.
But it could, if we spin it the right way, it could work.
We could promise them to tell the greatness of their god and that the museum will do the same.
And mention that there's going to be more people honoring their god by seeing the artifacts.
They're getting pissed off, so maybe we should decide something real quick. I vote for just putting them to their final grave.
Can we fight a ghost? If we can fight a ghost, I'm down to fight a ghost.
I think we should try and talk it out first, and if that fails, and they doing something with the pool.
Your talking wasn't working. They're getting more
And
pissed.
now we have an idea concerning the museum. We could try our best to persuade them, but it's 6 of us against 2.
If that fails, then I got Thunder Wave.
Can I do a history check to see if I know if we can kill a ghost from, like, reading, like, bestiaries or something?
Do an Arcana check instead of a history check.
14.
Yeah, you're pretty sure you can kill a ghost.
You guys can do the talking thing, but I'm ready for a fight. And I'll take this mask off of my hip, as just being sort of like hanging there, kind of hidden by my bag. But I sort of take out this mask, and it's the eyebrows sort of go down into a point that looks like an owl, and then the eyes are sort of like, the holes are underneath that pointedness, and then 2 like grooves are kind of chiseled into the mask. It's like white porcelain. And the 2 grooves are chiseled down to sort of look like tear tracks, and they go down to like the bottom of the chin. Like, it's still, the mask is still like complete in one piece, but it's just a little grooves on the inside, and she puts it over her face. I step behind everybody.
Oi, fellas, mind if I bring up a little bit of a proposition for you?
They just stare at you. They don't say anything, but they stare at you.
So, these days, not too many folks know your patron, Istisha, and I think that's a darn shame. Istisha is like such a great god. He's got the sailing, he's got the water elementals, he's a wonderful king, and I think it's a darn shame that nobody knows about him these days. It's a tragedy. So, I was thinking, a lot of those artifacts you had there, I heard that there was supposed to be some sort of exposition at the local museum about the great god Istisha, and that there were artifacts that were supposed to be brought in, and on our way in here we came across a carriage that, well, it looked like it had seen some better days, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you might have acquired those artifacts from that caravan. I think it'd be real swell of you if you'd allow us to spread the great word of Istisha to the masses. Display some of his artifacts and his glory to the masses and spread his word around, because as wonderful as his temple is, and as wonderful as you two are, and a dying god and his dying and dead worshippers is not going to get as much traction as one whose name is known far and wide by the masses. You hear about all these popular gods that have temples everywhere with their living followers, but, sometimes there's temples out there with forgotten gods, and damn it, I don't want Istisha to become one, so What do you say? Would you let us take the artifacts and spread the word of Istisha through the museums?
Roll persuasion with advantage.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
Advantage. Apparently that was good speech.
That one was a 12. 22.
Shit.
Okay, so they listened to your very long, winded explanation, including when you said exposition instead of exhibition. And they consider your words, and they say, a long time ago, our town was raided by horrible people who saw our offerings to our god and thought them only as treasures that they could sell off and move between each other like commodities, like they were simple trinkets. But we truly want to honor our god, and we want our god to be known and not just be forgotten, much like we have been, much like our town has been after the horrors that have happened to us by people that did not understand us and did not respect what we did to survive out here. And so if you truly are telling the truth, then that this will spread the word of Astisha to many more people in a way that will not paint him as ruthless or as horrific, but simply as another being, as simply as kind and forgiving as other gods are presented as, then they kind of sigh a bit. Then all right, you can take our goods so long as you do not desecrate the good name of Astisha.
Perish the thought. I would never do such a thing. Thank you too.
We can help you move our artifacts outside of the temple, but beyond that, we can go no further. So they start gathering up some of the artifacts. Jerome goes over and starts to grab some artifacts. They don't do anything to hurt you. Together you all head back up. None of the doors, closed and locked again, so you're able to head all the way back up.
When we were down at the bottom, while people were grabbing artifacts and putting them in their bags, could I have been double checking that all of the artifacts are indeed there with that list?
Yeah.
Anything interesting stand out in that list? I'm curious.
So it's a lot of various pieces of jewelry, especially a lot of rings and necklaces. There is a spyglass that is accounted for. There are a couple very old rudimentary compasses that were made that are accounted for. And there is also a golden mask that does not seem to be made for actual wearing on the face, but it seems to be kind of like a wall decoration of some kind.
Is anything not accounted for?
The mask that I just mentioned is not listed on the list.
Can I do a Arcana check or something? That's a 17.
I hate that. There doesn't necessarily seem to be magic associated with it. You get a slight sense of potential magic, but not in the same way as actual magic items are. It's more so it seems to be the residue of some kind of religious magic, cleric magic of some kind.
Can I store the mask in my bag under the radar of everybody?
You can roll sleight of hand to do that.
That is a 17.
Nobody's passive perception is over 17, so nobody notices that you do this. So yeah, you'll all get outside of the temple, they walk you down the steps, and then that's kind of where they stay as they just kind of watch you leave. They don't wave or anything, they just kind of watch you go. So by the time you all leave and you get back to your carriage, it has gotten pretty dark. The day has passed in that temple.
So we rest for the night and then continue on. Ooh, wait. I got. So I did when we did the sleeping thing at the inn before we left. I know what spells I know. I don't know how to use all of them very good, but I think I got one that'll do some helping. I want to try and cast Unseen Servant.
Roll a luck check.
I got a 2.
You cast Unseen Servant. Much like the Mage Hand, Unseen Servant just kind of is invisible, except for the way that you cast it is that you are still able to see it with 2 gloved hands, much like the Mage Hand had. And so it appears and it kind of puts its hands together a little bit, kind of waiting for instruction.
There's a slight difference between the Mage Hand and the Unseen Servant. You notice that the Unseen Servant's gloves are kind of dirtied. They're a little brown, they're a little tattered and frayed. and they got like kind of burns in them. But otherwise, they look like the same sort of gloves. Jerome turns to the unseen servant. He's like, "Hey, how you doing, buddy? So you're a unseen servant, right? Would you mind helping us set camp? Maybe you could like start a fire, help with there's like a nice little pile of tinder here. Help with that."
The hands kind of like tilt a little bit, and then like they move as though like the arms have crossed, and then like it rotates about 90 degrees as though the servant is facing like away from you.
I don't think the spell was supposed to work like this, fellas. Okay, so maybe you don't like to do the fire setting thing. I have a glove that needs some repairing. Maybe you could like stitch that up or something. And Jerome pulls a glove out of his pocket and holds it out.
It turns like slightly towards Jerome and then like reaches out and takes the glove and kind of like holds it up. And so it kind of like takes it as though it's kind of like looking at it. And then it pulls and just like rips the fabric more. And so now there's just like a big tear like all through the glove. And then it dramatically like holds it out in a very like, "Here you are, sir," kind of a gesture.
I don't think your servant likes you.
Vey, it is your watch. Are you doing anything in particular on your watch?
Obviously. So I'm going to take out that very peculiar mask I ran across. I helped set up Jerome's hammock with our mage hand, so I'm gonna go kind of into the forest, like behind a couple of bushes, like I'm squatting to pee, by myself. And then I'm gonna take out that peculiar mask that I saw. I'm gonna do a little bit more investigation. 16, because it's the same for history and investigation.
So I'll describe the mask a bit more in detail and then I'll tell you kind of what you know. So the way that it's shaped, it almost looks like cloth, even though it seems to be made from like some kind of heavier material, and it looks like gold, but upon investigation, like it's not heavy enough for gold. But it is sturdy to some capacity. You're not quite sure what it is, but it's just like kind of painted over with gold. And then it's designed to kind of look like a cloth draping kind of a thing, like if you just took like a long sheet of fabric and just put it over your face, but there are two holes that are carved out for eyes. And then the extra fabric kind of like goes back. It gives the illusion of going backwards, like behind the mask if you look at it from the front, but it really is just like intricately carved while the material is just going up, so it would kind of like hang flat. And then when you turn it around as though you were like looking at it to put it on, um, it has this weird inscription where like you obviously can like read all inscriptions, but like it's basically nonsense. It just kind of looks like a lot of like random shapes. It's not like an actual language that you can really detect. You haven't really like heard of any historical thing with a mask like this, really.
My face is like horrified in real life, but Vey's face in game is very interested. It has eye holes on it.
So it functions basically as like an actual mask. And like while theoretically it appear like based on the weight it appears like it would be like hung on a wall, it's still the actual like mask part is still sculpted in a way that it would fit on someone's face.
Can I like look through the eye holes and like see if anything looks different?
Like just kind of like holding it up, like not on your face as a mask, but just kind of holding it up and peering through.
I'll do whatever lets me look through it.
You're able to like if you could kind of hold it up and just like peer through it, similar to like if you just like cut out a hole in a paper and you just like held it out, you could still like look through, and like nothing really seems all that different, but you're looking through like very tiny like holes because they're supposed to sculpt around your eyes, so they're small when you hold it kind of away from you.
-1 wisdom coming into effect again, y'all. I put the mask on.
All right, so you kind of like bring the mask forward in order to kind of like press it up against you to actually look through, and like everything looks normal again. Like it's not anything special, but as you start to pull the mask away, being like, well, whatever, that's like nothing. You kind of start to pull it back, and then you suddenly feel something like grab the back of your head, and the mask gets like thrown back up against your face, and you feel something like slimy and icky, almost like coming off of the mask, starting to like grab around the back of your head. And Elle like gives a shriek and like flaps away as this like horrible like goopy, like it's cold and it just like latches onto the back of you, and you can feel it like dripping from the bottom of like the cloth looking part of the mask like onto your chest. And
this is like the face hugger from Alien.
Yes, it's like
that's
the face
all
hugger.
that's going
Yes,
through my head.
It is like
Ew.
the face hugger from Alien. And it starts to like drip down your body and starts to encase you, and you can hear Elle screaming like behind you.
Whoa!
And you like even try to scream as this is like holding on to you, but it's like you can't get any like sound past it. And you hear like this incessant like buzzing mixed with whispering like in your ears, even as like this goop has like gone over your ears, and so it's like encased in you, but you still hear it around you like a horrible surround sound. And you kind of like look up and you see a familiar like face that looks pretty disappointed at you as she's looking down at you before and like the goop starts to drip into the eye holes and completely covering you in this horrible black mass. And then you wake up. You had fallen asleep on watch and you're just by the fire. You look around and you're back there. You check your bag, the mask is in there. You look over, you don't see the squat bush you went behind before.
Excuse me?
What the actual fuck?
Sorry?
Is Snow awake now? Like, is it now time for me to come out for the watch?
I would have to go over and wake you up though.
Yeah, unless you're just like so used to waking up at that time.
I would imagine at this point I'm used to waking up by then.
Before Snow wakes up, could I just like look at the mask and see if it has changed or anything? Like, does it look different?
The mask itself still looks identical, but when you turn it around, that nonsensical description is no longer there.
Whoa.
Okay. I've made a mistake.
You think?
I'm doing the finger touchy thingy.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'll put the mask back in my bag before Snow gets out. Can I use my Mask of Many Faces to give Vey a permanent, like, regular look? Not permanent, but, like, to hide the fear behind her eyes?
She actually looks, like, horrified, but she uses that to just look, like, impassive, like, hey, good, you're finally awake.
Oh, man. They know.
I do that.
Okay, yeah. So Snow, you wake up and come out, and Vey is, like, fine. She's like, hey, what's up?
Alright. Hey, good morning.
Morning.
Critically Chaotic is a Dungeons & Dragons podcast brought to you by the following people. The DM is Xaan, who can be found as @Xandir on all platforms. They is played by Alex, who simply cannot be found. Snow is played by Bean, aka Alexa, who can be found in a variety of ways, but mainly @Alexandra_Jaden on Twitter. Kareus is played by Kian, who can be found as @LostFanboy on most platforms. Jerome is played by Lady, who writes, quote, "And that's all you get, you dirty gremlins." Mogan is played by Queen, who chooses not to be located at this time or ever. Leaf is played by Selah, also known as Strawberry online, who can be found as @_strawberrymilk on Twitter. The theme song is Melody by Emorie. If you would like to support Critically Chaotic, please consider leaving a 5-star review and following us on whatever podcast listening platform you are currently using. You can find us @CritChaoticPod on Twitter with no underscores, where we post updates and retweet fan content. For any other platform you would like to see us on, please look in the description. We will see you next week for the continuing adventures of Vox Anima. Have a great week, everyone.
Have fun editing this later, Xaan.
It's
Leave it
gonna
all
be
in.
a fucking mess. I don't know how. I'm going to have to leave in the fact that I just like fucked up on the description. Or if I did not fuck up on the description, I get to have like either way. I get to have an echo of me describing it, and it'll either make me look like a dumbass or make all of you look like
All of
dumbasses.
us.
Yep.